town,
You think so?
actually, to see,
Could have been.
you know, he's still looking to get out of Sweet Swine. I think he had questions.
Maybe he's getting a ride. But we got another great guest.
I heard.
Is it okay if I introduce her?
Yes, go ahead, please.
Ladies and gentlemen, join us in welcoming from Scott County, Minnesota, in the town of Jordan. Please welcome Maureen Carlson. Hi, Maureen. How are you today?
I'm great. Happy to be here.
Good, good, good.
So I have to ask this question. No, I absolutely love what you're wearing, but do you show up to every interview, every outing dressed like this?
I actually do.
I think it's beautiful.
I actually do. I was kind of going to ask you the same, but you know, I think we all have a taste for what we wear, and I love the woods, and I'm a storyteller. And so I go to schools and I do public speaking, and I've worn this all over the country. And this is my friend Gertrude. Gertrude's my walking stick, and she came dressed for the occasion as well.
Can we see?
So are there special things in Gertrude's pockets here?
Imagination.
Imagination.
Creativity, surprises, joy.
Surprises and joy.
Laughter.
Oh, all my favorite things.
Maureen, what made you locate your Center for the Arts in the small town of Jordan? How did you become to be there?
Well, my husband and myself decided that I really needed a place where I could teach classes and show my work, because people were starting to be aware of some of the things that I did, and we needed a location. And so we were looking for a place that would be on a river. That was the first priority. It had to be on a river.
Of course.
And it needed a place where people could walk. So I thought it would be in the middle of 5 acres of woods. And then we found Jordan one day, and there's a beautiful park with a waterfall, and there's a place to walk, and there are little antique shops and little restaurants. And then I have my little place on the river, and it's perfect for us. It's close enough to Minneapolis, St. Paul that people can drive in from the airport if they're coming in from out of town. We're about 35 miles from the airport, and so it's a perfect location for us. And it's a little small town and quaint, and when people come in from the East Coast or California, they'll go, "This is so cute. Look at this little town."
Oh, yeah.
So it's a very cute little town.
You mentioned classes and we checked your website out. We have to admit.
Your website's amazing.
Yeah, so you mentioned you have classes, you have retreats. Why do the students come to you? And you said they come from all over, like California, East Coast. What other areas?
Well, we've actually had people from out of the United States.
Just going to ask, in other countries.
Usually they're coming in for something else, to visit relatives, and then they'll come and see us because they know about my work because I write books. And with the internet now, and I've done some television on HGTV, and with the internet, you know, you can get buzz going, yes.
Everyone.
So we've had people from Kuwait, Austria, England, Thailand, United States, and Canada.
What are your hours?
Well, I'm only open 1 day a week to the public, because our main focus really is the retreats and then my own work that I do. And just on Fridays, but then also by appointment, and then we have our retreats and our classes, and we're open during those things. We're also open if there are special events. So we invite the audience to come to Jordan for our art festival, which is at the end of June, and then we have a wonderful Heimat Fest celebration in September.
Or if we can't visit, you said you have a website, do you have a blog?
We do. We have a website. It's very simple, easy to remember. I'm Maureen Carlson, so it's maureencarlson.com. And then my husband has a website called We Folk Creations, like little people, We Folk Creations.
Okay.
And we're in business together.
Okay.
And you both do the creations, right? I see you have a basket of goodies here.
I know, I've been trying to look.
I do have a basket. I brought things I thought you might be interested in.
They're absolutely beautiful.
My main thing to work with is polymer clay. So I've sculpted his face and hands.
Oh, wow.
And my friend Lou made the costume on that one.
And how long have you been working with polymer?
30 years.
So when you said you write books, I'm assuming you write polymer clay books.
I do, and I also write stories.
You're an expert at it.
One of my dreams is to write some stories for children in books, but right now it's polymer clay books, and I brought some to give. And so I have one of these to give to the whole audience on how to make clay characters.
Oh, cool. Oh, wow.
That one has sold more than 100,000 copies, and so that one's our best-selling book. And then I have one for each of you. I brought one of our children's books for the child in each of you. And this is Imagine Your World in Clay.
Oh, wow.
Because we're all about imagination.
Now, if Paris and I wanted to come to a retreat. Are they scheduled like throughout the year, or can we just have our own retreat, or how does one go about setting something like that up?
Yes, yes, yes. All of those things work. Wow. So we have some things that are scheduled where they're on the calendar and you need to reserve a spot. And those can be my classes or one of my guest teachers' classes. And those can be in jewelry. One of my favorite things now, though, is the creative process of understanding our own story and doing it through art. So that's part of what I do. Or you can schedule your own private retreat and rent the whole building. I have a dormitory that sleeps 8.
Oh, wow.
And so you could have bed space for that many and then have other people come in if you wanted to.
And you could teach me how to do something like him.
I could. Wow. Though if it's your very first time sculpting, it may not look just like that. But it's really about the process more so than the end product. But yes, I've been teaching for a long time, and I sort of teach it like a recipe. And so if you follow these steps, you will find it much easier than you think it will be.
Right.
Though if you're trying to make a beautiful, sweet, charming little baby or fairy, that's very hard. That little character has little masks that she can wear, and she's part of a set that I made that was called, she sits in a cabinet that has roots on it, and her name of her cabinet is She Stopped Biting Her Nails Once She Remembered that in her root cellar she had a mask to fit every occasion.
Wow.
And don't all of us wish we had masks that we could put on and change into someone else, which is sort of what my costume is about.
Here.
And when you go to schools, what kind of stories, what kind of program is that for?
I take a basket of clay, and it's all about imagination. And so the first child finds skin.
Cute.
I cut it up in 5 pieces, and by skin I mean a color of clay, purple, green, yellow, orange, red. I cut it up in pieces and I give it to 5 kids. The first person tells me if it's male or female. The second one, how old it is. Someone tells me if it's a fairy, gnome, troll, elf, goblin. Somebody names it, and then I start to create it. Somebody finds its underwear in the basket and its clothes. Then somebody tells me where it lives. All the time I'm making the character and I'm asking the questions. So they're telling the story.
Oh, how fun.
But I'm facilitating it. And when we're
If
done,
the school wants to get a hold of you to have you come, if they just go on your website, then they can get set up to have you come to their school.
Yes. Wow.
Perfect. That looks very interesting.
Yeah.
Tell us about that.
It's
well,
a
this
box.
is, and I don't know if the audience can see this here, but this is a box, and this is a story box, and I've told my story in there, one of my stories, and I'm fairly creative, so you wouldn't think I lived with fear, but I'm always living in fear that what I create won't be good enough. And so I made a box about playing it safe and dealing with that whole thing of fear, which isn't a very funny thing to laugh about.
So they're kind of therapy boxes, too.
Yeah, they can be fairy boxes. They can be humorous. And then inside I put things that meant something to me in terms of that theme. And so when I teach this as a class, I encourage people to find their story that they want to get outside of themselves and put into a box.
So are the pictures, is that like pictures of you when you were younger?
Oh, wow.
Okay.
Yes, it is.
Very sweet.
Yes, it is. And here is my cousins and my daddy and my sister on a tractor. And the one that's crying is me. And my mother said it's because I wanted to get out there and play with the big girls on the wheels.
And they
of course.
They want truth.
So what is the most difficult part about
Juggling.
all of this? Balance, yeah.
Balancing, juggling.
Because you work with your husband. I'm sorry, but would that not be difficult?
He's sitting out there in the audience.
I mean that in the nicest way.
But you know what? That relationship keeps changing too, and currently we're just doing lots of things. We're learning, and you know, when you're learning something new, it doesn't matter so much if the underwear is laying on the bathroom floor or if because you're excited about something new that you're learning, and it's like.
And you can put that in a story.
Yes, you can.
Oh, Maureen, I hate to do this, but I'm getting the sign from behind that we've got to wrap it up. Thank you for coming to be our guest, and we for sure are going to come up and see you. And remember, we share small town stories with big town attitude, for we are the women of Sweet Swine County. Bye-bye.